Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. In today's video we are going to be discussing the vote of no confidence against Bartomeu and his board of directors at Barcelona. Well, it's been a long and windy process and there's still a lot to go through, and it's quite an intriguing one because, well, Bartomeu, he's close to leaving, he's close to being removed as the Barcelona president. It's unbelievable stuff. The first step has been completed, but there's plenty more to get through, and it's a long and confusing process that I myself have really struggled to get around. But I've done some research, I've had a little look around, and I'm pretty sure I know the situation now, so I'm going to go ahead and translate that into a video for you guys, so you guys know exactly what to know all about the motion of no confidence, what's going to happen, when are things going to happen, how are things going to happen, all of that sort of stuff. The entire process is coming right up. So let's start with the basics here, guys, and the motion of no confidence is something that Barcelona members, and in this case a presidential candidate, can essentially come up with to overthrow the board. They can start this campaign. Of course, you'd probably be saying, why hasn't someone done this before? Well, usually if you want to start it, you have to be a big enough name to actually have enough support. And also, once it's started, it's very, very difficult to actually get enough signatures from enough willing members to actually overthrow the board at Barcelona. And as I say, a certain number of signatures need to be required for a motion to go ahead. They need to also be valid, which is what we're going to be getting onto later, for it actually to go somewhere. And what we have right now is a motion that has worked. It's gone somewhere. We've got over the required amount, and that's been organised by men such as Jordi Farré. I think he was the main one who did it. He's a presidential candidate. Whether he's going to win or not, we don't know. It's also been promoted and helped a lot by men such as Victor Font, who we've spoken about before. And what we've got right now, guys, is well over the required 16,500 signatures, and I believe we have near the 20,000 mark of signatures of papers and documents against Bartomeu's board. And I just want to put this into perspective because maybe people will be thinking, well, of course 20,000 Barcelona fans have voted against Bartomeu, why wouldn't they? But it's not that simple. I can't vote in this. You know, you have to be a member of Barcelona. It's during a pandemic. You have to be in Catalonia, essentially. You have to be basically next to the Camp Nou to go into these people's offices, to do all these documents. You have to be a member, which, by the way, isn't easy either. They've made that impossible to do. You have to either have a family member who's a member, so someone close to Barcelona, or you have to hold a commitment card for 3 years straight. So say I wanted to become a member, I would have to get a commitment card for 3 years straight, and then also in the fourth year I can become a member, so when I'm like 22 or something. So it's not as easy as just, you know, oh, anyone can vote. It's really difficult, and also people who are members aren't usually people like me, aren't usually that activists on Twitter, for example, who would love to be voting against Bartomeu, and all these people, you know, in the Barcelona family we have online. These people won't really be voting in the election, so it's had to be entirely made up by publicity by people like Victor Font, Jordi Farré, on places like Twitter and stuff, and that won't reach all the members. You know, a lot of members are in their 60s plus and stuff at Barcelona, so what's happened here is really impressive. Stuff like this doesn't really usually happen. Like I say, it's had very little publicity, of course, because Barcelona run a lot of the papers close to the club. Why would they want their own board to go? And like I say, it's not as simple as just being a Barca member and being able to sign it. You know, it's hard to be a member and actually have the opportunity to do such a thing. Also, we're during a pandemic, and we've got to say, well done to the people in charge, well done to everyone who went and voted, guys, because, well, this really proves everything in this situation goes against us, but we've still managed to get all the votes in time. It proves really how bad and terrible Bartomeu and his board are. But that's the part that we all know, really. We know what's happened, we know a motion was set up, we know that the signatures required have been reached. That's what you guys, I'm sure, will all know in the past few days. But what you all want to know is, well, what happens now? Does Bartomeu leave tomorrow? Does we just go now and chuck him out? When's the new board coming in? All of that, guys. And well, what I'm going to go through here is tell you that right now, this certain amount of signatures have been reached, and in the coming days, guys, more steps will be taken. But what you need to know is that we've got the first step, and now we can proceed with the motion, and we've entered a stage now that we've never even done before in history. And like I say, it's not very simple at all, because I myself, I'm still looking through it now, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to get this across to you guys in a digestible manner, because it is a little bit confusing, and well, it was never going to be easy, was it? It was never going to be easy to just get rid of Bartomeu. You know, we've done the hard bit almost in getting all the signatures, but there's still more to do. But let's begin with the next step, and the next step is that really over the next few days, guys, we're hoping, you know, maybe 2-3 days max, the table for the vote of no confidence will be assembled. This table will be in charge of promoting and controlling the entire no confidence process, and this step will take a maximum of 10 days in total. The table will be formed by 2 members from the current Barcelona board. You know, you'd hope not Bartomeu, but 2 members to go over that, I suppose. You'd also have 2 people who first signed the motion of no confidence, you'd expect Jordi Faré joined by someone else, and then you will also have a delegate from the Catalan Football Federation who will be acting as the president. So to clear that up, that's 2 people who first signed the motion of no confidence against Bartomeu and his board, 2 people from Bartomeu's board, and then a president from the delegation of Catalan football. Once that table has been constituted, what we'll need is for the 20,000 plus votes to actually be verified. So what we'll need here is for the signatures to actually be official. Have the people who've been signing got the required documents? Has all of that been put in place? And what we're hoping for, guys, is that a lot of them are completely fine. This should take around another further 10 days, guys, maybe even more with these things, we don't really know. But usually, like I say, you would expect for about 5 to 10% of the signatures to be completely invalid, so they won't be able to count. But what we've got here is 20,000 votes, guys. That means that we could have nearly 20% of the signatures invalid, and we still could be able to have this motion, of course, in a positive manner, and we'd still be able to throw over Bartomeu because we have, well, we need 16,000 and a half, we've got over 20,000, so nearly 20% of the signatures can go. But in my opinion, we shouldn't be getting anywhere near 20% of the signatures being invalid. That shouldn't be a thing, and unless, you know, some sort of disaster happens, this should go ahead. You know, I don't know if there's some disaster in the paperwork or Bartomeu gets up to something which means that all the signatures become invalid. You know, we'd hope that wouldn't happen. If I was being honest, I'd expect at least 18,000 signatures to be completely valid and fine, so that'll mean that the motion can go ahead. What we do is we get the table to essentially look over all of the votes casted. We've got 20,000+, we need 16,500 legal, official votes. Once we get over that number, we can further proceed, guys. So that's what should be taking around 10 to 20 days in total, that process. And like I said, with these things, it could be even more. Now that the official vote of no confidence has been called and the signatures have been verified by a table constituted of the right men, we've got over the 16,500, which fingers crossed we have, by the way. You know, I know we've got over 20,000 votes right now, but like I said, we need all of them to be official, essentially. So, you know, you hope they wouldn't mess up anything there and just get something dodgy over the line. We should be fine. We've got a lot of margin there, and that should be all okay. What we do now, guys, is that we enter the final stage. You're probably thinking, what is all of this? Why can't we just vote and he's gone? It's just never that simple, guys. What we do now is we enter a referendum. What they're saying is about 140,000 Barcelona members will be able to vote in this referendum. Although, like I say, I would expect the official number for these people who are allowed to vote to be provided much closer to the actual date of the referendum. They'll probably announce maybe a few days before that this is the amount of members that are allowed to vote in the referendum, and this is how many votes we need for it to be passed. But what we're looking for in this referendum, guys, is something quite interesting, because say 140,000 members are voting in the referendum to either agree with or disagree with this entire motion of no confidence. So this goes to essentially every Barcelona member to fully decide, do we go ahead with this? Do we get out Bartomeu, or does he stay? That's the final call here, guys. The motion has gone ahead. We've got enough to take it further. The Assembly and the Constitution will check that that's all in order by the table we just spoke about, and then we enter the final referendum. A lot of members will be voting in this, and this is essentially a yes or no thing, really. Do you want this motion to go ahead? Do you want Bartomeu and his board out? Or no? You say no. I don't want the motion to go ahead at all. What we need, guys, is for 2/3 of the Barcelona members voting in this final referendum to say yes, we want the motion to go ahead. If we get over 2/3, then Bartomeu will be gone within the next few weeks once that referendum is held. To give you guys some further figures, say about 140,000 vote in this referendum that we have coming up. Say 95,000 of those votes, guys, agree with the fact that Bartomeu should go. That's over 2/3. Bartomeu and his board will be gone. Official, they have to be removed. So, say that final referendum is passed and agreed, the managing commission will then have to set an earlier date for the presidential elections. Right now we've got them set for March, and then the president will be coming in, you know, just in time for the 2021 to 2022 season. But what we've got now as well, within 3 months of the board leaving, we could have a new president, guys. So maybe within 2020, a new president will be in charge of Barcelona. So that's that, guys, really. What I'm going to do now, though, is just summarise it all for you guys before you go ahead and leave this video. And, well, it's exciting stuff, the motion, it really is, but it's also a little bit lengthy and confusing. So, in short, we've passed the first step. You know, we have the motion, we have the signatures. Now the table must be assembled, they'll be casting over all the votes, and then they'll judge how many of those votes are valid. We need over 16,521. We should be getting that because we have about 20,800. Then what we do is we enter the final referendum, which every Barcelona member, I believe, must vote in. What we need then is for 2/3 of those voting in this final referendum to agree with the motion of no confidence against Bartomeu. If they agree, the Bartomeu board and himself will be gone, a temporary board will be put in place just for the time being, election dates will be brought further forward, you'd think around November really, maybe even December. The new president could be in charge by 2020 or early 2021. So that's that, guys. A little bit confusing, a little bit, just trying to feed information to you guys, but I think I've done a decent enough job. We've got the motion, we need to assemble the table and check all the votes. Then we hope we have enough votes and we can pass on to a final referendum. We need 2/3 of the members to be voting positively in the referendum. Then we can depose Bartomeu. What I will say is that we have a few months left, and that's a little bit frustrating, you'd say. The board will be here for the rest of the transfer window, Bartomeu and all of his, men in charge. Maybe that's a negative sign, guys, but I suppose we can start the season with Bartomeu, and then if this thing goes ahead, then, we can get in a new board member, a new president election in before 2020 ends. So that could be quite interesting, guys. Lots to come, still months of this to go, and that's probably the worrying thing, but hey, we've still got, a lot of positive things to come in the future, guys, and this good thing is really that this motion has actually happened. Really the main thing I'd be worried about is that final referendum. If we've got 140,000 members voting, we would need near 100,000 to be saying yes, we agree, and maybe that's a lot of people. That would be my only worry with that. That's going to end the video. Please do like and comment if you did enjoy it and if it was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.